Hello and welcome back to Tradie Business School, the podcast where we're going to talk all things tradies, general contractors, and how to grow your business in a smarter way with more profit and less time required of you. So I'm joined in today's episode with the wonderful Miranda Hill. How are you, Miranda?
I am amazing. Thank you, Michael.
As always. I mean, are you any other? Is it other than amazing?
I don't know, but everyone listening out there knows I would be lying if I said I was always amazing because I'm a human being.
Are you? Actually, a friend of mine was offended when I called him human. He is like, I'm not human. He's insulted by the fact. In fact, what's interesting is that when you ask someone how they are, have you ever heard like, oh, I'm very busy? Like often that is the default answer that most people give. Oh, flat out, super busy. Yeah. Have you noticed that?
I have. It's interesting. It's up there with stress. It's like it's worn like a badge of honor. It's like, well, I'm really busy. Yeah, busy, got heaps on. Oh, yeah. Or it's like, oh, I'm so stressed at the moment, those sorts of things. We're not talking about stress today. We'll just leave that one parked off for another episode. We'll be here for hours. But, how to manage being super busy is what we're going to talk about today. And that moment where people say, hey, I'm busy, I'm super busy. So I suppose
I'm busy being busy. And what are you doing? I'm just busy. And I've even noticed in myself, there are days where I feel I've had a super busy day and I've been working flat out, can't remember what I did in the day. And sometimes I may have been really busy, but I didn't necessarily feel productive. So I'm busy doing things, but not necessarily effective things.
Yeah, and that's like that hamster wheel where, well, I got up this morning, I've been nonstop all day, I've barely stopped to eat lunch or I didn't, I've been run off my feet, I've been doing, being a human doing, not a human being necessarily.
A human doing.
And running that hamster. At the end of the day, it's like, wowzers, I was busy, but what have I achieved? I'm wondering if any of our listeners out there has ever experienced that. It's like, geez, I had a busy day, but what did I achieve? Oh, goodness, have I necessarily ticked anything off my list? I was speaking to a client just yesterday, one of our coaching clients, and he was like, wow, I came in early and ABC happened, and then I did this, and then da-da-da, and now it's 5:00 at night, and I'm no further ahead than I was when I started. And how did I end up doing all of these things? So, yeah, he was busy. And being busy is something I know that I've experienced. I'm sure you have, Michael. I suppose the first question, Michael, is, what is busy? Like, how do different people experience?
How do you know that you're busy? And I find it difficult to answer that because we all have a different view of what busy is. Like what's busy for some person is not busy for somebody else. I mean, you could be busy all day on the couch watching Netflix. Like that's busy. Playing games all day. Oh, so busy playing games. And I think sometimes we use the word busy to let people know that we weren't doing nothing.
Yeah.
So we were doing something and we're doing a lot of something. And also, a mentor of mine always reminded me that busy does not equal profitable. Busy does not equal making money. Busy does not equal results. You can be busy doing things that produce no result whatsoever, but you were really busy. And that makes you feel good. It's like an excuse for procrastination. But I was busy.
Yeah, it's like an ego stroker in a way that we're busy and we're feeling good about doing things, and yet we know because we watch ourselves, we watch ourselves. It's like, well, I was busy. We know we might not have achieved the things that we know matter. And I know in so many trades businesses at the moment, small businesses, medium businesses, whatever, there's a lot going on. There's often an increased demand in work, and busyness often at the moment, I'm certainly noticing in our clients, is mostly, not always, there will be exceptions to this rule, but mostly around how do I deliver deliver on my commitments to clients, I've got so much work coming in. And so it's
do.
the delivery, but it's also to the running the business stuff that doesn't happen, the directing the ship in the direction of goals, the working on the business. So it may be, well, I've just got to get the job done. I've got to get the job done. I've got to get this car out. I'm having to turn clients away. I've got to fix this motor. I've got to paint this.
What's that a symptom of usually, Miranda, do you think?
It's a symptom of lack of boundaries and lack of being clear around what matters, probably also to a lack of systems or understanding what to say yes and when to say yes to it. Boundaries is probably the bigger one we can probably explore into. What would you add to that?
I think you're right. I'm even wondering, like, just in this conversation, whether when you say that I'm super busy, like that's more of a flag of an issue, of a symptom of an underlying problem to kind of investigate. Like, how is it possible? Like, how did I get busy? What happened? Because I know that a lot of our clients are sometimes really busy because they've had 2 staff call in sick, or they've had a staff quit on them, or they're super busy because all of a sudden they had a massive, inflow of work and jobs that they weren't prepared for. They didn't have the systems and team and things in place in order to manage that data. Or you're super busy because cash is a bit tight at the moment, and you feel that the only way to get out of unprofitable to profitable is by doing more. And by doing more and filling your day with work, it means that you're saying to yourself, I'm doing something about it. And if I'm not busy, it means I'm not trying.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's so many reasons why busyness can occur. Yet, let's just imagine for a moment people are busy, right? I don't have to probably imagine. Imagine a lot of your listeners out there are like, wow, I've got to get here and I've got to do this and I've got to do these things. I am, in fact, busy. So, we're all busy in our own way. So whatever busy is for you, that's cool, right? And we've opened up, I guess, some thought patterns into the reasons for your busyness and other things. And if you would like us to talk more deeply on any of those things that we've talked about, then drop a comment below, send us a message, and we will bring you an episode and we can dive into one of those areas. For now, though, let's go kind of practical. You're busy. What can you do and how can you manage yourself better if you are, in fact, busy? You might have a lot of invoicing to do. There might be a lot of administrative stuff. There's some job delivery. There's a bunch of tasks that need to be done. And we'll just dive into a few practical tips on some strategies we know have worked with our clients.
I think the first thing is define busy by doing a task audit. Identify like where the busy is going. And the reason for that is, let's say, for example, you wanted to fit gym in and you're too busy to go to the gym. Well, do a task audit, identify where your time's actually going and see whether you need to cut back on something or watch less TV or, I'm not saying that you're watching TV, but you get the point that often there's opportunities to find the time for something that's really important to you. And you can do that by, you can't solve busy. Like, it's so intangible and so like in the clouds that like what is busy? Like, as we were just talking about before, there's so many different explanations of what busy is. So defining what busy looks like, I think, is a real practical thing and will ground you. Like, you'll get it. Like, when you say that I'm busy, here it is. Here's the sheet that says, here's why I'm busy. This is what I'm doing.
Yeah, so the task audit is such a powerful tool. I know we give it away. It's a free resource. Click a button somewhere around here and you'll find it up, down, sideways. But it's one that we, even in our paid programs, recommend to clients regularly. It can be used in different ways. So do not be, I guess, tricked by the simplicity of it. So define busy to begin with, and fill that in and track where it is. One of the other things that I know works really well is time blocking. So for those of you that don't know what that is, it's essentially blocking a batch of a block of time to dedicate to and a focus on a particular task or type
group of tasks. Email, for example. So rather than email throughout the day, you go, for 15 minutes in the morning, I'm going to check email here, and 15 minutes at 4 o'clock, I'm going to check email here.
Yeah. Also, too, I know in Oh, there was, I think it's in the book Deep Work by Cal Newport, but I might not be right. But that's a good book anyway, if you want to go read it. He recommends 4-hour time blocking to get into that deep work, because you get in a flow and you're way more efficient and productive. So how to squeeze the most out, the biggest ROI on your time, is to get into a rhythm and a flow uninterrupted. So time blocking means blocking some time, and I would recommend a minimum of 90 minutes. 4 hours is often not possible, given especially trades businesses and what's going on, unless you sort of come into work at 5. But even still, you could block an hour and a half to 2 hours to get some tasks out of the way.
I like power hours, like I used to do this thing where I close the door in the office and say, look, I'm doing a power hour. I really need to get this, focus on that one thing. Other people have sometimes who wanted to do sort of strategy and thinking would go into a room, lock the door, no computer, no phone, pen and paper, and solve and do what they need to do really efficiently.
Yeah, you only take that which is required to complete that task. Now, if it means sitting at your desk where everything's there, then tell the people that you need to inform that you're not to be interrupted for 60 minutes unless maybe the premises is burning down, and you will die if they don't knock on the door.
Even then.
It is block that, tell the people, turn your phones off, shut browsers down, and do the work. Because it has been proven that for every time you get interrupted, you lose time resetting, getting back into that flow state again. So you're in, I guess, a negative time use by every time you get interrupted. So it's really, really important when you time block to remove distractions and blocks and those sorts of things.
So look at your weekly calendar and determine, and decide in advance where you're going to do those routine things that you're going to do each week. So when are you going to do your numbers for the week? We recommend Money Monday, and blocking time to do your numbers and understand your financial position at the same time, the same day each week. When are you going to do email? When are you going to do quoting? Do you do quoting as they come in? Does that mean you stop what you're doing and do that? Here's another good one. Really good book by Chet Holmes, The Ultimate Sales Machine. And his company was built on, do you have 5 minutes? Like constant interruption. Every employee went, do you have 5 minutes? And that's how it was. And he introduced, yes, I have 5 minutes between 1 and 2 p.m. on Thursdays. And he put that on the door. And if you do have a question, he put a little box and a piece of paper, and you can ask it in there, because usually urgent is never urgent. It can wait in most cases.
That is great. That leads into the next one I was going to share, Michael, which is batching. So that's exactly what that is batching tasks. So what I mean by batching is if you would bring together tasks or things of a like nature, and you would put them into one block. So yes, all emails get done within half an hour. So you don't look at them all, you wait for them all there. We will do, it may be that there's a weekly meeting you have set up with a key person, and all during the week you add things to talk to that person about on that topic. So they're in a batch to talk about in one focused session. You might batch if you've got to load new clients into a CRM. It may be that you batch them in a queue, or you dump them into a particular folder in your inbox, and then at a dedicated time you batch that task so that they all get loaded up at a specific time. So it's a really powerful tool to use to eliminate distraction and keep you more focused on what you're doing, knowing though that it's taken care of. So it does require a little bit of systemization behind the scenes, so that you may keep paperwork in a physical place in one batch. You may have a folder that you keep all emails of a type, so you come to them. I use Asana a lot, and I know we recommend Asana as an automation tool on Path to Freedom. I think it's around chapter 9, but forgive me if I'm off by a chapter or two. And very much I will use Asana a lot. I have a weekly meeting with a team member, and anytime something comes up during the week I want to talk to her about, I pop into our Asana agenda and I pop it on there, and it's all taken care of. Then I know I'm free of that out of my mind. It's taken care of, and we batch that at that meeting.
Yeah. I think really good practical things. I think, and using the task audit as your foundation to then make those decisions about what could you batch together. So in the task audit, we ask you to go, do you want to delegate that task? Want to outsource that task? Will you continue to do it? or will you stop doing it completely? I guess if you choose to continue doing it, can you batch them? Where can you find the similarities and then schedule them into your calendar to kind of, and effectively what you're doing here is trying to create more time, because you want to reduce this pressure that you're feeling. That's what busy is, it's pressure. And the other thing is that we say this here at the Game Changers, that you get what you focus on. You get what you focus on. So where your focus goes, your energy flows and your results will show. And therefore, if you're focusing on, I'm busy, and then you're saying to yourself, how can I'm just so busy. How do I stop being busy? What you're seeing is evidence of being busy. You're just going to keep being busy because that's where your focus is. So instead of, asking yourself, how can you stop being so busy? Maybe change the question to something, how can I be more efficient and effective? How can I prioritize better?
Yeah, our language is so powerful, and I would just go all out and issue a blanket ban on using the word busy in my language, in my head or aloud, and replace it with something more resourceful. I personally, and this is my gift to everyone, you're welcome to this mantra, but I used to say, I don't have enough time, I don't have enough time. That was my version of being busy. It was something I noticed as a pattern in my language, and I invite all of you listeners out there now to consider what are some of the frequent things I say to myself or in my head. Mine was, I don't have enough time. So I replaced that with something I recited multiple times every morning and day, was I have all the time I need to do everything I choose. And that was my mantra. I have all the time I need to do everything I choose. Now, I had to rewire my neurology and my patterning and my habits and my speech to do that. So I did that by every morning in the shower, I would recite it a minimum of 5 times aloud to myself. I would do it driving in the car, and I set certain times of the day. I also noticed when it crept back in, I would say, I have all the time I need to do everything I choose. And that really, I never, ever have said again that I don't have enough time. It's just gone from my language. So very, very powerful technique that you can use when you notice those frequency and the pattern. I suppose one of the last things I would wrap it up with is how you set your intention for using the time. Well, actually, I had 2 things. Oh, there we go. Remind me of my second one in a minute, Michael, because it was, yeah. Anyway, so the one was setting intention around when you've batched, when you've time blocked, you've done all of these things. When you sit down to use your time, is to set an intention for it. Like, what does done look like, or what is the purpose of this, or what is the outcome that I want to achieve from this time? Because by saying that aloud or writing it down or saying in our own minds is setting our target, I suppose, for that time, so that we know that we're on course during that time. Really powerful to set that intention. It's just like vision for your business. You set a vision, a purpose for the time, so that it's a micro version of a little vision, a purpose for that time. Really, really powerful. And the other thought I was thinking of is, imagine an hour was $100. And if you had your hour as $100 and someone said to you, you can spend this $100, or, for $100, you can keep it at $100, you can invest it, and you'll get 100 as 100. Would you, if somebody said, well, this is going to be $100 investment, but at the end of it, you're only going to have $90, $80 left. Is that something that you would choose? Because that's effectively what happens with time. When you invest an hour and you permit distraction and reactivity, you don't set intention, you don't batch, you don't time block, that's what you're doing. Is you're only getting $80. It's like a conversion rate that works against you, isn't it? You're not getting the full value of your hour.
Choose a different goal rather than busy. And when you notice, there's so many great tips and things in this podcast. I'd probably encourage you, like, if you are busy and you're listening to this, well done. You found time. You've evidence that you can find the time. I would listen to it again. I honestly would listen to this one again and start to commit to implementing like one thing from all those ideas that we've mentioned today, and see how that plays out for you. Ultimately, busy doesn't exist until we label it as such. And as a business owner, and or an entrepreneur, or however, whatever label you'd like to give yourself, there are going to be times where you have to hustle a bit. You're going to have to put in the hours. Some people just don't want to do the work. Now, if you are busy, it means that you are prepared to do the work, which is great. But just because, you might be implementing some of these strategies, these tactics that we're suggesting, we're not going to say there's not going to be times where you're going to be doing a lot, right? So I think it's about the balance required. If you're in peak season, guess what? You're probably not going to be relaxing a bit. You're probably going to have a bit on. And we go through these cycles. And I think how to managing being busy often is in your mind, right? But also in the practical things of you being aware of where your time's going, how you're managing your time, and are you being productive, efficient, and effective and intentional with what you're doing, rather than the pinball in the pinball machine being flown all corners of the maze, fearing that you're going to fall down the bottom.
Yeah, absolutely. I would even go as far as managing time. It's making a choice consciously around how you're going to invest your time. It's an investment in you and your business, and we'll all have things to do. Yet, how do you choose to invest the time that you have so that you get a maximum return on investment, a maximum ROI from that time? Because time is our most precious resource. It is the only resource we will never get back. We get one shot at it every minute. Invest in it wisely. Be conscious about it. Live consciously rather than on automatic, just letting it fly by, because it's too short. There we go. I'm not going to open that.
Well, I'm super busy, so we've better wrap up this podcast episode. I've got things to do.
I have all the time I need to do everything I can.
See how easy, isn't it? It's so easy to use that word, and so I really hope that you got a lot of value from this episode, busy people, and looking forward to hearing maybe in our Facebook group, if you implement one of those things, what happened? Love to hear some feedback from you about what happened when you implemented some of these things on your perception of being busy. And I'd love you to be more in control of your time, have a much better experience with your business, much better relationship with your business, so that you have time to do the things that actually matter to you, the things that matter most.
I would go as far to say, Michael, I think that this episode is really valuable for everyone, not just trades of small business. So time is something that is a human thing. And so if you've got value from today, then share it.
Pay it forward.
Pay it forward. It could be one thing that just helps with somebody that needs to hear today to shine a little light in their day. Pay it forward. That's what I'd do. Awesome. On that, have an amazing day, everyone.
Thank you. See you guys. Bye.
Bye.